Hello again and welcome to another video. In this episode I'm going to cover the canvas tag. The canvas tag is very interesting because it requires JavaScript to do anything. Now, if you saw the last episode, I gave a kind of a brief over JavaScript, so I'm going to try and do another one just to try and give you an idea. JavaScript basically is a client language. It runs on your computer using code sent to it from the server with your web page. It can do all kinds of things like change colors of things, change sizes of elements on your stuff. It basically gives you the ability to interact with the website in a very dynamic way. Now, there's one thing that it really can't do very well, and Apple had this idea, and Apple says, well, why don't we create our own HTML element that works on Safari only, and we'll call it Canvas. And the Canvas tag, what it will do is it'll allow us to draw using vector art and JavaScript. So if you don't know what vector art is, probably want to pop open Wikipedia and take a look. Vector art basically works on a bunch of points, and the idea is like, you know, when you used to do those connect the dots in preschool and kindergarten and all that. When you would do those, each one of those points is kind of how vector art works, but the computer will interpolate it and let you put angles on it so you can create circles with it. And it's very nice because vector art can scale infinitely because it uses point references rather than pixel references. So you're more telling it the distance between points than you're telling it the actual pixels to fill in, which is really nice if you want to make like a logo for a business and you want to make it really small to go on a business card, or you want to make it huge to go on your shirt, or even larger to go on the side of a building. And vector art will do that for you with only having to make one bit of So let me explain real quick the canvas tag. The canvas itself comes with no real attributes except for height and width. And height and width does just that. We can say it's 200 pixels and width should be 200 pixels, so it's a nice big square canvas. And that's all it does. You give it an ID so that you can reference it in the JavaScript. This is going to be canvas. All right, cool. So if we look at our page, there's nothing here, so I'm going to do some text before it. So before, and then I'll do some text after, and you'll see we've got before, after. That's nice. However, what is the purpose now? Well, before we can do anything with it, we have to use JavaScript, and like I said, it's not necessarily an easy task. What you end up having to do is you have to target the canvas tag, and you need to fill in the points, and then you need to tell it what to render. I've added a script tag here to give you an example, and it seems a little complicated, but it's really not. This is some basic JavaScript, some basic canvas. The way it works is I create a variable which stores a reference to the canvas tag that I just built. Then what I do is I create a canvas context. And the canvas context, as you can see, I say the CTX or context is the canvas tag that I just targeted .getContext2D. Canvas also renders in 3D, but that's really complicated because you don't have like fill cube or fill Rhombidodecahedron or stuff like that. So it's a little difficult in comparison to the 2D. But you know, using something like using a library can kind of fix that for you, because then you can do like, you know, draw square and draw sphere and stuff like that. But that's neither here nor there. What we have here is we then set our fill style, and our fill style is the color. And so I'm just simply setting the context, setting a global fill style, and then I'm using the built-in fill rectangle command, which what I'm doing is the first two attributes are the X and Y distance from the edge of the canvas, from the top left, mind you. So I'm basically saying go down, or yeah, go left 50 pixels and then go down 50 pixels. Then draw a square that spans down 100 pixels and then right 100 pixels. So what that comes out to is I have this black square in the middle of my canvas tag. So needless to say, the canvas tag is only a container for your graphics. So in this episode, I basically could have just said it's a container. It's actually a canvas. It's something for you to paint on using JavaScript to actually do the strokes for you. Other than that, I hope you've learned something, and when I get into JavaScript, I'll probably cover the canvas tag in much more detail and show you how to make really cool things. In fact, I might even show you how to make a game in Canvas. So I hope you learned something. Peace.